miserable Saturday morning. It is the 12th of December, and as you saw, the car has been charging overnight, so it's at 100%. As most of you know, I have a 3 kilowatt home charger, and it came free with the car. I didn't have the funds at the time to actually upgrade it to a 7 kilowatt or faster. So I'm stuck with 3 kilowatt. Now, as some of you may have seen in a previous episode, this car is fairly inefficient at 3 kilowatt. Now, one of the things last night is the weather was substantially better. Cold, but better. I decided to charge the car whilst walking my dog. So I parked at the train station, took the dog for a walk, and it charged something from like 37% to 98% in the space of the dog walk, which was 55 minutes. Came home, had 95% left, plugged in, and it took a total of 3 hours and about 15 minutes to actually finish that last 5% and the battery balancing, which is a bit insane, to be honest. All the while drawing down about 2.5 kilowatts, so costing me not much, but probably about 60 cent an hour. So times 3, that's about €2 pretty much for the cell balancing, which is ridiculous. So I'm genuinely sort of thinking, I don't charge at home a lot, primarily because of that. And it really makes me want to actually upgrade my charger to a 7 kilowatt, because the car is just a hell of a lot more efficient at 7 kilowatt. Anyway, irrespective of that, I had a small, minor little niggle. Well, it's actually a big niggle. My nemesis, Arlink. Okay, there's many Zoe owners have complained about it. Now, it functions most of the time. It genuinely functions. Now, it's currently saying no maps found because I have actually taken out the SD card. Now, as some might notice, that is the USB or the Bluetooth connection, and as you can see, it's not moving. Normally when it starts up, it finds it finds your phone and it connects to it, and it has like a moving circle in order to say that, oh yeah, I'm looking for something. And at the moment it kind of seems to be stuck. If I go under the settings, the Bluetooth is enabled and it should actually download all things. If you go to manage devices, it seems to be stuck trying to connect to that phone, which is my wife's phone. If I go and say delete the device, and I can go like that, and go, you want to delete it, I go yes, it just stays like that forever. It doesn't change, it doesn't do anything. So the Bluetooth side of things seems to be well stuck. Now, in order to fix that, I had a bit of a chat to some of other Zoe owners online, and one of the suggestions was to try an actual update, which is why the SD card isn't in the unit. As it so happens, there is actually there was actually an update available. I just reset the Arling by opening the door and closing it. There you go. There was actually an Arling update available, so I can actually try that to see whether or not it'll actually bring the Bluetooth back. So I've updated the SD card using the was it the Arling Toolbox, something like that. So I might show you guys how to actually update it. So it goes in there, and when we turn the Arling on, so first thing it does, it loads the maps, of course. It should pop up to say there was actually a software update found. Here we go. I love the way my actual home address is still coming up as an unnamed road. It's brilliant. So it should say that there is actually an update available. For some reason it doesn't appear to be. I wonder, did something go wrong with the actual update? It doesn't seem to be suggesting an update. That's strange. It has obviously detected the actual SD card because the map is loaded. That's strange, I must investigate that. It doesn't actually come up with an update. That is very strange. Perhaps it doesn't check that until it actually is properly restarted. So I shall go out of the car and come back in and see what happens. Okay, I locked the car, came back in. No, it's still not coming up with an update. That is interesting. I shall bring the SD card back inside and we'll see. Yeah, there appears to have been something wrong with the SD card. Anyway, I reinserted it in the computer and it did an update. I think I was just too impatient. So it appears to be updating the system, which is good. I've turned the heating on in the meantime, because it's getting a little bit chilly in here, and I'm fogging up. So I think I'll just leave this sit for a little while. Judging by what other people were saying, this particular update could take a while, judging by the progress bar it is. So we'll see how long this takes and if it is successful. Yeah, I'm parked the other direction. The actual update finished and I was busy doing something and we had to go into town and all that kind of stuff, so it actually, yeah. Anyway, if we look at the top there, it's now moving, so by the looks of it, it appears that the actual Bluetooth has been fixed. Yeah, here we are. My two devices are still there, and it's just cycling through them now, trying to connect. Which I don't. I see now. Have I got my phone with me? I've got a phone with me. Let's just see if I can actually turn the Bluetooth on. So the Bluetooth is now turned on one of my devices, so we should actually see whether or not it actually connects. It'll be the GTI one, I think. It is my wife's phone, which is currently my backup phone, as my own one has still not been repaired following the breakdown that you saw in the last episode. I think if I just press that, it should start connecting to that. Or perhaps not. Anyway, it seems to be working. Other things that changed were, I think the only real thing that people have actually found was sort of like different reversal graphics. I've got the car on, so I might just put her in reverse to show you guys. See, look, the actual, they seem to be sort of, yeah, more clearly defined, so it actually looks a lot better. Haven't particularly noticed anything else that is different, but I'm just happy that my Bluetooth appears to be working again. Hello from the South Mall in Cork City. It's a busy Sunday just before Christmas. Well, not just before Christmas, still 2 weeks to go. I don't know why everybody's fussing. There's still 2 weeks to go before Christmas. Why is everyone panicking? Anyway, we're in town, myself and my wife, to pick up a few things. And we've got a bit of a trek ahead of us for today. We are going from Cork City to Killarney and Tralee, to again pick up some stuff. Then on to my in-laws down in Ballyduff, County Kerry, and then back home. So we're doing a bit of a circle. So far we've done 36 kilometers since leaving home. I was hoping to get a parking space here because I just wanted to top up. I didn't leave home on a full charge. I left at I think it's about 90%, 95. So I just wanted to do a top up here, because if I do a top up here, that means I don't have to actually charge in Macroom, which is a bit of an unreliable point, and I can move straight down to Killarney, where there is a relatively reliable fast charger as well as a few slow chargers. So I'll have options. I might even make it all the way to Tralee. We'll see when we get to Killarney. But anyway, this is our first stop. I plugged in at around 60%. We're up 63% already. It's a nice 22 kilowatt point, charging right next to a nice red Nissan Leaf. This is the one good thing about driving an electric car this time of year at the moment. Every parking garage and everything like that is absolutely jammers, and I'm able to get an on-street parking space as well as charging. So that's the one good thing about having an electric car at the moment here. But that's hopefully going to change soon when people start actually copping on to these cars being very economical. Anyway, enough chat. Time to move on with the rest of the day. Right, Killarney. That's interesting. So this one's charging now. I've been here a few minutes already. 2 minutes. Interestingly, this one allows you the option to go back home and actually to start a DC session. The one in what was it? Nina. The one in Nina didn't allow that. It actually didn't go back to the main menu. So once you had a charging session going, it didn't allow you to start a second one. So it's obviously unit specific. I think the guy said to me it depends on the supply to it. Anyway, so let's just go inside. It'll be quieter. 36%. I think it arrived here with 32. We tried Macroom. We just happened to pass, and my wife needed to use the bathroom, so we just went. I just decided to plug in anyway. It came up with a check connections error, which I had a feeling it would do. That's why I didn't count on it. I was glad to actually get the charge in Cork. Weather is getting dark. Then again, it's December. There was a bit of rain over the hills. That's why I didn't film anything during the drive, because there was very little to see. Done 121 kilometers. I had charged an extra 25% in Cork, so that means we would have actually made it on one charge, which is good to know. Yeah, not so much else to say really. So I'm gonna go in. My wife is sitting in the petrol station there waiting for me, and I'm gonna have a cup of coffee, and we'll give this about 20-30 minutes, and we'll move on to Tralee. Now we are back home. 291.2 kilometers driven, 15.5 consumption, pretty good. Eco score, blah blah blah. Anyway, didn't film much after Killarney, as you may tell. Only really made one charge stop, Killarney, or Lislow, at a local charge point there. Had dinner whilst charging. I think it went from something like 33% to 93% in about 45 minutes, so it was grand. We had a little bit of dinner, and then by the time we got back to the car, we just unplugged straight away and just drove off. Very uneventful. What I actually just realised is that there's when I arrive this time of year, and I'll just turn my light off, and you might be able to see there's not a lot of light. And if I don't have my porch light on, it's fairly difficult to see what I'm doing, you know, with keys and all that kind of stuff. Zoe actually has a fairly nice little feature that some of you may be aware and some might not. It's one of those things that's sort of buried in the manual if you actually bother to read it. I actually didn't, but I just happened to sort of, I flicked through it. I didn't fully read it. I'm one of those guys that doesn't read manuals. Anyway, it is the See Me Home lighting. What that basically does is that you can turn the headlights on for a certain amount of time even after you've left the car and locked the car and all that kind of stuff. The front lights will stay on. It's very handy for when you're in either on a dark driveway or in front of a charge point and you can't really see what you're doing. You can actually just leave your headlights on for an X amount of minutes. It works by pulling on the light stock. Every single time you pull on it, it'll add 30 seconds to the timer to a maximum of, I think it's 2 minutes. So let's just have a peek. So I'll pull the stock, and you on the right hand side of my dashboard you'll see me home 30 seconds, 60 seconds and 90 seconds, and like I said, I think it's up to, yeah, it's up to 2 minutes maximum. So after 2 minutes the headlights will just turn off, and that's just really handy when you just want to see what you're doing. That's it really. Fairly uneventful episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. If there's anything else you guys want me to cover, please let me know. I'm not sure whether I'll have anything worth filming this side of Christmas. Pretty busy at work and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you guys want me to cover anything, I'll see what I can do. Drop me a line in the comments. That's it really. As usual, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys again. Bye now. Just a little addition. After my last update, I noticed that when I went to navigation drive 2, I went to charging stations near my location. I noticed there was no charging stations there. So I thought I had done something terribly wrong with my update, and it turns out I actually haven't. What happened is that the update actually changed the cable settings. So if you go to navigation settings, then to EV settings, there used to be a setting here for cable settings that used to have tons and tons of options. Now thankfully you can actually select what kind of cable you've got. So you've either got a type 2 cable, which we do here in Ireland, a flexi charger for the domestic sockets, which you can, is fairly useful in other countries. Over here in Ireland not too much. You've got an industrial socket cable, would be the commando sockets, I'd imagine. Type 3 is France, but we have type 2 here in Ireland. So if I go type 2 and hit done, then if I go back to my, where is it, drive to charging station near my location, there are my charging stations. And to make it even better, what seems to have happened is that they've actually managed to properly put in the actual charge stations with regards to how many charge spots there are. So the Cork Super Value will be the one in Fermoy. Now, I say this slightly incorrectly. There is 2 charging spaces. It's done as an accelerated one. That's actually a 43 kilowatt. It should be 3 lightning bolts, but they don't have that distinction yet based on the information they got from ESB, I'd imagine. But what I am delighted about is that you no longer get the message of, oh, this is an incompatible charge point, because, it actually isn't. So that's actually a brilliant little improvement. And I'm delighted to see that, actually. Right, that was the little add-on. If I don't see you guys this year anymore, have a good one, and we'll see you guys next year. Bye now.